Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. Some people, they like to snuggle. But on this show, you're going to learn to love the struggle. It's time to wake up the Giants. Boom. Good morning, Giants. Welcome to Wake Up with Giants TV. I'm Ryan Morris, co-creator of Wake Up with Giants TV, a tribe of giants, 12 Journeys Coaching, and I was a contributing author in a book called The Journey of Riches. It's all about kindness, really, which is kind of my jam. And then here with Nicholas T. Smith, the author of The Giants and the Smalls, the whole reason why we're here. He's the other half of Wake Up with Giants TV, a tribe of giants, and 12 Journeys Coaching. And together, we've created a gigantic mess of giants.
huge mess.
It's pretty dang awesome, the things that we've created. Nick's written a whole bunch of books, been on a lot of podcasts, spoken all across the country, all across the world. There they are. Look at that. And there's more and more and more. Every time I think it ends, Nick pulls something out. He's like, "Oh yeah, back in third grade, I wrote this book." He's got something else up his sleeve.
Yeah, well, the recent one is when I was in the womb. I found that one.
You remembered? Finally remembered again?
Yeah. Oh yeah, going way back.
Oh, I love it. And if you haven't been to our website, go to our website. Nick, do you have that queued up?
I do. Let me grab
a
it.
little bit about the website and how to navigate it, where to go.
Yeah, absolutely. Updating daily on this thing. So one of my favorite features in here, this is my12journeys.com. And what you're going to learn in here is how to rewrite your identity and your story. We're not looking to scrap who you are. We're looking to scrap what no longer serves you and rewrite that. So your identity is essential for creating everything in your life. Who you think you are essentially generates your thoughts, your emotions, your actions. And our goal is to help you find the things that are no longer serving. We call those the small parts, and turn them into giants. Did add a new feature in here, the digital twin. And this is for people who've gone through the program or going through the program, whether you're coaching one-on-one with me or Ryan, or you're going through our SG program. You'll have access to all these tools, and they're pretty incredible. So the digital twin is available in 28 languages. It's available 24/7. He's programmed with the 12 journeys and more. And he's a powerhouse that can help you through some difficult times. It's live coaching, interactive like this. It's video format. So, other than the huge lag time in it, you wouldn't know it's not me. So, which is a cool feature.
Yeah, and if you want to hear Nick in, I don't know, Vietnamese, you probably can do that.
I sound like a gringo in Vietnamese, if that makes sense. So, one of my favorite things here is the notebook LMs that we've created for each of the journeys, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time on this one. These are phenomenal. So we've engineered over 300 sources per journey inside of Notebook LM, where you can actually go in and have a dialogue with that content. So if you're looking at the journey of non-consciousness, you want to know how the brain works, how your identity is created, you can come into any of these journeys and talk to them just like you would another human. It's basically like having an AI on the journey of non-consciousness. We've added some slideshows in here that are based off of the 12 journeys, videos, podcasts, mind maps, flashcards, questions, quizzes, etymology, like all the nerd stuff that I love. And you'll see the quality of this content is pretty incredible. So I've been going through and building these out for you. And the cool thing is that as you go through the 12 journeys, these act as a support to what we're teaching you, so that you really anchor this in for the rest of your life. Our goal is not to have you addicted to us. It's to help you heal and have a framework that you can use again and again forever. And so very powerful stuff. There are inside of your 12 journeys resources, each of the journeys plus more tools. You'll find all of our documents in here, videos, and our custom GPTs to help you really break free from your old patterns. So pretty incredible stuff. How is that for a
That's
explainer?
that's
Yeah,
perfect. That's somebody just needs to go get lost inside of it and experience it for themselves because it's life changing stuff.
yeah. I want
Truly
to
is.
shout out real quick Jennifer Eggleston. So Jennifer wrote her first two books. I have the other one in the other room, but I just grabbed my copy. So I don't know if you guys could see this. Bunkaboo. It is her first book that she got published. So Jennifer was the one that helped us get into the schools down in southern Utah, where we taught 300 teachers the 12 journeys. And I just wanted to shout her out because this has been a dream of hers to get a book published, and here it is.
Yay.
And real and great story. Great
That's
story.
awesome. That's awesome to see dreams and stuff become reality.
Yeah, it
She was
is
she
cool.
was a big part in that. I have memories upon memories from going down to the schools down in southern Utah.
Yeah, we'll have to tag her in this video and just say, hey, check out the shout out. You know,
I love it. I
we
love it.
love seeing the Giants take off like this, man. It's really cool.
Well, speaking of giants that are taking off, we've got a giant that's on here today as our guest that we need to introduce. He went through our Sum Gigante course as well. So will
Yeah.
you introduce our guest?
I'd love to. So
Awesome.
today's conversation is one you're not going to want to miss. In a world that often avoids discomfort, we're flipping the script because what if struggle isn't your enemy, but your greatest teacher? This episode dives deep into how pain, challenge, and even failure can be the forge where true strength is born. Our guest today is Dr. Derek Pond, who's a physical therapist, educator, and speaker who bridges science with soul. He uses his deep understanding of physical systems, universal truths, and lived experience to guide others toward healing, not by escaping difficulty, but by moving through it. He's here to show us how to reframe pain, recover with purpose, and build real resilience. So please give a massive welcome to Derek Pond. Maybe you guys can do claps. And
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah. It's good to see you, man.
I appreciate it. It's great to see you both.
Yeah, you went through our program a little while back, and we're going to dive into your philosophies. We're going to dive into your history and who you thought you were. We always like to go back to the non-conscious journey of the programming that you really started with.
Right.
You know, going back to development. Who did you think you were? Can you walk us through development for you, childhood, and what that might have been like, and what got you here today?
You know, overall, I think I had a great childhood. I think
Okay.
I was raised great. I'm one of those that actually look back on growing up with great memories. You know, my parents are great. My family was great. Yes, my siblings, we fought. It's amazing that we survived adolescence. But I think my journey really began a little bit later, right? My growth, right, really began a little bit later.
Yeah.
And that growth really truly happens when you are confronted with something that you have no idea how you're going to overcome it. You don't know how you're going to do it. You
Yeah.
know? And so that actually happened, you know, in my early 20s for me.
Okay.
Growing up, I thought I felt like I could conquer the world. I thought, you know what, bring me that mountain. You know, that's kind of what I thought.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that there was a lot of growth I had to do to even approach that first foothill, you know. And so it wasn't until later in my life, and where I was confronted with things, specifically challenges with my marriage, challenges with work, struggles with my kids, things that truly broke me and took me to a place that was fairly dark.
Yeah.
Where I really struggled. And I was confronted with a reality that I didn't anticipate.
Mm.
You know, I had thought, hey, life is going to be great if I just have a good attitude, right? If I just keep the right attitude, life's going to be great.
Yeah.
And life, though, is designed to break you by design.
Yeah.
But it's designed to do that so that you can become more, right?
I like that. Yeah.
Actually, maybe we'll use a little example from recently. It was actually even right after I went through this program. While I was going through this program, I was going through my second divorce. I was trying to grow a business.
Yeah.
And I ended up losing everything, right? I lost my business. I divorced again. I had to move. I had struggles with my kids. I really thought for a while, I thought, God, really? Like, I'm trying to do my best. I'm trying to do my best. And I went for a hike. Hiking for me was therapeutic. Hitting the mountains was therapeutic. Regrounding myself, being out there with my thoughts, being able to think, being able to do things like that. Pushing myself physically also a little bit. And I saw a thistle. There was all these thistles that lined the trail. And on one of these thistles was this big, beautiful yellow butterfly. Right? And I thought, and I looked at this thing for a little while. I took a ton of pictures of this butterfly. It was magnificent. It was gorgeous. And then it flew away. I was like, man, that was beautiful. And in my mind, I'm like, wow, that's exactly what I needed. I had been, in effect, this little caterpillar, right? I was like, I'm going to be the best damn caterpillar I can ever be. I'm eating everything. I'm growing. I'm being stronger. I went through this program. I'm trying to learn the skills. I'm trying to do everything I can. And life sometimes shows you, hey, you're not just supposed to be a caterpillar. You're actually designed for more than that. But how does it do it? How does a caterpillar change into a butterfly? The actual thing that has to happen is it is literally stopped in its tracks. It is encapsulated in a cocoon. It can't progress for a little while. It feels like it's stuck. Right? And everything it went and built and grew, everything that it was working its butt off to gain in its life, gets broken down into this big puddle, into this protein soup within this little cocoon. It gets broken. It gets disintegrated, basically.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the only way that this thing can change. So this time in my life, I was like, I am a puddle of protein soup right now. Like, God, I was trying to be this caterpillar. I was like, I can do this. I'm growing. I'm doing it. And the universe, God, I mean, however you want to view it, was like, no, we're putting the pause button on you.
Yeah.
You got to stop. And we're going to take everything that you thought was important from you. We're going to take it away. Everything you worked to build. You tried to build a clinic for 10 years. Great. We're going to take that away.
Right.
Right? You're trying to find love. Oh, we're going to let you divorce again. Everything. And that's the only way, though, that I could create the change that I needed in my life to become more. And so that caterpillar of me, my little caterpillar self that thought I'm building a business, I'm growing, doing better, gets broken to the point where then I am now allowed to regrow.
I like that. Yeah.
Some interesting stuff, though. I mean, if you just think about nature, nature follows all these laws. Every single law that you see in nature, I think, is applicable to like stuff that we go through emotionally, physically, mentally, all of it. Right? It's all applicable. That's what the whole world is an analogy for how we can grow and how we can live. So as that caterpillar is changed, it's inside of its cocoon, and that caterpillar is evolving. It becomes this butterfly in there. But now as it's breaking out of this chrysalis, it's breaking out of this thing that's held it and protected it and encapsulated. It's breaking out of there. Nothing can intervene. It's got to go through the struggle. It has to do it on its own. If someone came and broke up and opened that chrysalis on its own and did it for it and didn't make that now emerging butterfly do the work and go through this struggle, fluids would never be pumped into its wings. Its wings would never expand. It literally would stay this shriveled up little butterfly that cannot fly, that cannot take off. And so it's in that struggle. We've got to get broken. We've got to basically break ourselves down to what is the nature of me? What is there that is inside of me? What have I built thus far?
Yeah.
But then we've got to create something new. And even as we're creating something new, we have to go through the struggle. We have to put in that work. We can't let somebody else do it for us. And if we don't do it, those wings, even though we've made some evolution, even though we've made some changes, if we don't really push into that struggle, our wings will never expand. And so as I watch this butterfly fly away, experience things, see things, live in a way that, this little caterpillar never could. I looked at this butterfly and I was like, dang, if I want to fly, if I want my life to be more, I've got to push into that struggle, right? If I want my wings to expand, it's required. It's required.
You know what's interesting about this? I just did a post the other day, inspired by Andrew Cole. Andrew Cole has his YouTube channel where he's doing these shorts on Sasquatch, right?
Yeah.
Very, very cool, very simple. I love it. But he talked about the butterfly and that idea that it dissolves completely in the chrysalis.
Right.
And I did a post the other day on the beauty of the butterfly is it will never witness its own beauty. It is physically engineered that it cannot ever see its wings. It can't turn its head. It can only see forward. So it will never witness itself the way you were able to witness it, and so that's the crazy thing about life is we go through all this struggle and strife and trouble and we come out of it stronger, but we still can't fully see ourselves, right?
Right.
The way that, God engineered us to be is we're designed to look forward and work on what we're working on. And then others get to witness that. Right. So outside of you might not ever see that beauty.
Right.
Even though you did all the work,
Well, honestly, though, it's so much harder to sometimes see it in ourselves, though, anyway.
Right.
Right. I mean, we look at ourselves through a pair of goggles that are built on our own experiences, but often built on our own doubts and our own perception of like, man, I'm going through this, I'm struggling, and everyone else someone from the outside might be like, dude, but you're doing it. You're doing it, right? Yeah. So I think that was a struggle for me for a long time too. I could see it in other people. I wanted it for other people. I could see other people's value. I could see other people's worth, and I could apply it to them. But I struggled for a long time to even apply any of that to myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing here is you have an awakening to look. This is important. Face the struggle. Go toward the struggle. Dive into it. And you're not done. Just because you wake up to it doesn't mean you're done. And you think about it, if people could see their own wings, well, they'd be spent up judging themselves that their wings aren't big enough or they don't have all the right colors and all this stuff. And so really there's a blessing in not being able to see fully. And so waking up to it is one of the first steps in transformation. It is the first step in transformation. Most of what we do, 95% of our thoughts are automated, 40% of our habits are automated. We automate from our identity and we think that's who we are. So we go around life just acting that way and it shows up in the results. Like you mentioned, you're going through a second divorce and it's like you see it, but you don't see it. You're going through patterns, but you don't see the patterns. Right. So how did you wake up to what it was in your life that needed attention?
So there's a couple things, right? I had to come to a realization that my worth, my value is not the result, is not based on the circumstances of my life, right? Probably most people here are probably familiar with Viktor Frankl. Yeah. His work, existentialism, and there's a couple quotes for him, and one of them says that everything can be taken from a man, but one thing, the last of human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way, right? Yeah. And if we understand his, I mean, he's writing from a place of depth. I mean, he was in a concentration camp, right? He's seeing people literally die, but he can witness that before they died, they gave up.
Yeah.
And that's one big part of his book is he could tell days before someone was going to die that they gave up internally, that they gave up the help. They decided to give in to their circumstance. And so for me, it was, I get to choose. This life is mine. I get to create. What do I want to create with it? And I think I have a unique perspective. I base a lot also on my work in the medical field as a physical therapist.
Okay.
And so for years, I've tried to apply these practices, and I teach patients about it all the time. I would teach patients that, if you want to get better, you want to get your knee back to where it should be, you want to get back to playing soccer again, your grandma wants to be able to play and sit on the floor and play with your grandkids again.
Yeah.
Right. What hard do you want to do? Do you want to it's the whole concept of choose your hard. It's like, do you want to put in the work, and you've got to push that knee and you've got to work on it. It's going to be hard. It's going to be painful. It's going to suck.
Right.
But if you don't put in the work, then the hard and painful and suck is you're not going to get back to what you want to do. You're not going to create the life that you need. So there's a lot that applies to us physically. I think there's a big point in the physical struggle that we have. There's a lot of analogy in the physical struggle. I mean, you look at tons of these, a lot of motivational speakers and athletes and things, and they all talk about that is an analogy for life. You push into that physical struggle. But there's reasons for that. Again, there's laws related to that. There's laws in physiology that are related to that.
Yeah.
Two of my favorites are two of the most applicable. One of them is called Wolff's Law, which is named after a German doctor, right? And the other one's called Davis's Law. And both these laws of physiology basically say a very similar thing. Wolff's Law basically states that if we want to build bone mass, if we want our bones to be strong, if we want to prevent osteoporosis, or the best way to reverse it is by loading our bones. We got to stress them. That's how we're going to build strength. That's how we build mineralization into those bones. That's how we regrow, even if it was weak. That's how we're going to build it back, is by stressing it. And Davis's Law basically says the same thing, but it's about soft tissue. It's about our muscles. It's about our tendons, about our ligaments. If we want those things to be strong, we have to stress them continually. If we want them to adapt, they have to be put under stress. They won't change any other way. And actually, if we don't stress them, they're going to do the opposite. And Wolff's Law and Davis's Law would say this too. If we don't stress them, they become weak. If we don't stress our muscles and our joints and our soft tissue, they actually go into what we call a contracture, where it shortens up and you can't use it. You can't move it. And then in order to try to get things going, it hurts like hell. You got to push it. So if you can continually stress it, it's when you make the changes. So for me, it was the realization of, okay, I'm going to apply this knowledge that I have, that I'm teaching patients daily physically.
Yeah.
Right. That I'm teaching, I'm instructing, I'm telling them to do these things that are hard so that they can make these adaptations. But then how do I apply that to me?
Yeah.
How do I apply that to what I'm going through? How do I apply that to how broken I was feeling? Well, it applies perfectly. If I want to be the butterfly, if I want to learn to fly, if I someday want to spread my wings, I've got to push into that struggle. I've got to stress myself. I've got to lean into that. And there's no way around it.
Let's go through some of this. So you went through the 12 Journeys program, right?
Yeah.
And so in that program, the first 6 journeys are all around the struggle, the inner world, who you think you are,
Right.
how to navigate the heavy emotions, how to accept life as it is. And as we look at this, part of what comes up as humans, I look at AI, I interact with AI every day. The benefit AI has is it will never feel an emotion. It will never feel the chemical response in the body of what it feels like to be human.
Right.
And I had a guest on my AI podcast the other day about AI and HR and how HR is, trying to replace humans with with AI, and then they're finding out that it can't do what humans can do. Like our ability to reason and math and do all this stuff is just incredible.
Right.
And we have that emotional side to us. And so when you forget that is the complexity of humans is that we do have the ability to feel. The challenge of that is we have the ability to feel. So when you're going through and you're looking at your life and you're like, oh, I'm going through a second divorce, and then you feel the flood of chemicals in your body, right?
Right.
It really like wakes you up to your situation. It's so uncomfortable that you're almost forced to look at it. And this is where people either look at it and do something about it, or they ruminate and they get stuck in it. And unfortunately, that leads to some not very good outcomes for people. So when you get into that space, from what you learned through, the 12 journeys, your own practice, because I know you do physical therapy with people and you're really moving the body. What have you learned about those emotions and how to be with those sensations that are so intense that they flood you, they overwhelm you, they capture your thinking? How do you handle that? What is your philosophy or your method for doing that?
Actually, some of these things I learned through this, I learned a lot through this program. One of the first things that I learned, actually, let's see if I can remember this quote. This was life-changing for me. I had basically hated so badly where I was. I was angry at what happened to me. I thought it wasn't fair. I was, I thought, you know what, life is out to get me. And when you let those emotions in, they can completely overwhelm you.
Yeah.
And that's what drives you into that darkness. That's what drives you into that despair and that depression. And it's so hard. And one of the quotes that actually you shared in that program was Andrea, I'm going to say her last name probably wrong, but Andrea Dijkstra.
Okay.
And the quote was, in order to love who you are, you cannot hate the experiences that shaped you. And for me, that was a complete paradigm shift. And so in this program, in this journey, right, of accepting what I had gone through, I had to realize if I want to love myself and I want to be able to love the life I'm creating, I can't hate everything that brought me to where I was presently.
Yeah.
I can't be mad at somebody I think offended me. I can't hate that I feel like I failed. I can't continually dwell on the fact that I didn't feel like I was enough. That I feel like I failed this person, I failed that person, I failed at another marriage. I couldn't dwell on that. I had to accept it for what it was, which brings me to another one of my favorite quotes that I think I learned in the program too, and it was by Michael J. Fox. And we know Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
Right? Everyone knows him from the Back to the Future movies, but for the last 30 plus years, he struggled with Parkinson's. And a lot of people didn't, and he didn't divulge that struggle for a long time, even though he was acting, he was going through it. And he's done a lot of work, to help people with Parkinson's now. But you look at him and he's got the best attitude. He's got a loving marriage. He's got an amazing family, and he is putting in work to help the world. He is changing the way that we treat Parkinson's disease. He is doing so much for the world. Yeah. And one of the things that he said is that my happiness grows in direct proportion to my acceptance.
Incredible, right?
And inverse proportion to my expectations. Yeah. So I had all these expectations on what I thought life should have been.
Yeah.
And I was pissed off that it wasn't that. I was mad that I didn't have a good marriage. I was mad that I felt like I wasn't treated right. I was mad that, I lost a business. I was mad that, things that happened with both my exes, mad about things happening with my kids. But man, if I could step back and accept things for what they are, but now it's a presentation of, okay, look, this is an opportunity. What do I get to do with it?
Yeah.
How do I get to build from here? What do I get to grow?
Yeah.
And accept my responsibility in things, but also accept that now that I've got all these broken Legos in front of me. I had built these Lego toys for years, right?
Yeah.
I had these expectations of like, man, I built this amazing car. Right? I built all these awesome Legos,
Yeah.
and now these were all broken in front of me. And I could either go, man, I wanted that Lego car to like, I wanted that Lego Star Wars Starfighter to, I loved those things. And I could either sit down and go, I'm disappointed that they're broken.
Yeah.
Man, I wanted those things so bad. Or I could take all those broken pieces and be like, I get to build. This is exciting. I get to create from this.
Yeah.
What am I going to do now? And it was like, it changed from a depression and an anxiety and man, life sucks and I failed to, let's go. I get to make something new. I get to create a life I want.
Yeah. The journey of acceptance is
that was hard.
One of the most
that was
powerful,
hard.
Right? So you look at that journey of acceptance, of acknowledging what is,
right?
And then you acknowledge from that, you naturally flow into what's good.
Yeah.
If you can truly accept what is, and most people are in resistance to what is. They're like, this shouldn't be this way. It's not ideal. We really lose our minds over resisting what is.
Right.
And our brain then comes in and supports us and says, hey, you're right. That takes a lot of energy to change things. So I'd rather just go back to the old way because it's more efficient. So the brain is so amoral. It doesn't care if it's good for you or not. It just says, hey, is this going to burn energy or not? Because if it is, I don't want to do it. And then we have to force it into changing. But when we're in resistance to what is, now we're burning up all this energy fighting reality. Right. And reality is reality. Like whatever you say about it, it is what it is. And the brain says, hey, since it's so hard, let's just go back to what we've always done. And so it repeats the patterns because of efficiency.
Right.
And then we get stuck in a loop. And so acceptance really opens the door to not only is it what it is, it's okay that it is what it is. And like you say, what would I like to do from here? And to me, it's foundational to change and transformation, because until you accept what is and what has been in your life, then you find yourself just spinning yourself up and all your energy in the fighting it.
Right.
And then you're not really building anything. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Well, for me, that was the most transformative journey for me. Again,
yeah.
I mean, it was like, accept what is, accept what you've been through. And then, like you said, if we refuse to do that, we kind of fall into these older patterns. Well, I'm going to use another physical therapy example for you.
Yeah, please.
All right. I have patients that come in frequently, and they had a little shoulder injury, or maybe a major shoulder injury, but then it hurt to use their arm, and so because it hurt, they're like, well, now I'm going to stop using it. I don't want to push into that. I don't want to do that. Right. That hurts. And so instead of accepting, hey, I've got an injury, but I still have strength. I still have whatever it is. Right. They avoid it. And then what happens is maybe they had a little bicep tendonitis, had a rotator cuff tendonitis or something, right? Whatever it was. But then because they stop pushing and they stop using that shoulder, it gradually turns into what's called adhesive capsulitis, or most people know that as a frozen shoulder, right? So one thing I teach my patients all the time is our bodies are meant to move. They heal better when they're moving. They feel better when they're moving. And it's not just the joint that we're trying to do, but it's a global system. And so if we're moving and we're pushing and we're trying to move forward, even though it might hurt a little bit, right, then we're going to maintain what we have and build on what we have. So what happens in a frozen shoulder is the shoulder's amazing, first of all, right? We are amazing from head to toe. This thing's a miracle. But we're supposed to have like all this movement, right? We're supposed to be able to do all this with our shoulder. And so there's what's called the joint capsule that surrounds your shoulder. And the rest of our whole upper arm it's connected to our body, not by bones. We only have this little tiny collarbone. It's
Yeah.
not like our hip joint. It's not like our knees. It's not like our ankles or anything else in our body. We're only connected by our collarbone, and the rest of our shoulder is literally floating.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
It's floating by muscles basically that control it. So really complex musculature that controls our shoulder. But then the joint capsule that surrounds the joint has to like fold, and it's super intricate. And when things get swollen, when things get a little pissed off, they become, that joint capsule kind of becomes sticky, right? And when it becomes sticky, it literally adheres to itself, and then it won't open back up, right? And so it's like that. We go back into those old patterns a little bit, and then it's like, well, I'm just gonna hunker down, and maybe I can avoid that for a little while.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't have to address that. But what happens when we do that is it does the same thing as a joint capsule. It literally just now holds on to itself, and we lose the motion that we had. We lose our ability to do what we wanted. And then we have an extra thing we got to work through, right? We've got more. And it's harder. It's harder. Yeah.
Right. It's not really attached to anything. That's the crazy thing, is whatever you're fighting isn't really attached to anything tangible. It's like your shoulders just floating. Right.
And it might have been a minor thing too. It might have been like, oh yeah, I just strained that a little bit, but now it hurts to move it. And so we make this thing that, yes, it hurts, right? But then we make that thing become so much more painful, become this big, huge thing because we don't address it.
Wow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna share a weird story with you.
Please. Yeah, we like weird stories.
So my younger brother, when he was like, I don't know, 1.5, 2 years old.
Yeah.
We had read this book to him so many times that he had this book memorized. And my mom's a kindergarten teacher, so she would read it in all these different voices, and it would be like super exciting. And so he learned to read this book, even though it was like just by memory, with all these different voices. So, and he's like not even 2 years old. He's like reading this book, reading it, right? And we have a recording of him doing that in this little high, squeaky little voice. And the book was called Harry and the Terrible What's It. I don't know if anybody here has
never heard
of that
of
book.
Yeah.
Read this book. But I gave a presentation at UVU. It was a couple years ago. I was talking about injury prevention, and my brother was in the audience, and this book totally came to mind. And it was like, man, that's a profound book. In the book, Harry is a little kid, and he's scared of the basement. He says it's dark and it smells, and also there's this thing down there called a what's it. So one day his mom goes down to get some pickles into the basement, and she doesn't come up. And
it's those damn pickles.
And so he kind of gets brave enough. He goes down and he's holding a broom, and he's like, I'm gonna go find my mom. Right. Yeah. And he goes down in the basement, and then this huge what's it comes out, which is like, it looks like a big old monster kind of. And he is kind of scared at first, but then he's like, what did you do with my mom? What did you do with my mom? And the second he stands up to it and looks at it and sees it for what it is, the what's it shrinks. And then he gets a little braver. He's like, what did you do with my mom? And the what's it's like, listen, runt, we didn't do anything. He's like trying to talk back to this little kid, but he stays strong, and he stands up and he looks at it. And the what's it shrinks again. And it shrinks again and again and again and again until it literally disappears. And I was like, that right there, man, what a profound kid's book.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, the problems in our life, if we don't address them, it's going to be this big, huge thing we're afraid of. We're not going to go down in the basement. We're going to be terrified. But the second we can see them for what it is, it's just like this little shoulder injury. The second we can see them for what it is and we address it, that problem gets smaller and smaller and smaller. We can talk about things emotionally and the things that are truly the things in our life that are holding us back. Well, what are they? Like sometimes they're like you were talking about the shoulder. Well, it might not even be connected to anything really. It might be this thing that if we could just turn and face it and see it for what it actually is and know that we are enough to stand before it. No matter what that thing is that's standing at us and staring it in our face and calling us a little runt, if we can stand up to it, it's going to shrink.
Yeah.
And if we keep doing it, it's going to shrink and shrink.
I was thinking about
and
Macaulay
shrink
Culkin
until ultimately it goes away.
in Home Alone, where he doesn't go into the basement because of the furnace that's like raw.
Mm-hmm.
So I've avoided furnace.
The exact same example.
It really
exact
pulls
same
in,
thing though.
Derek. It pulls in the idea of moving forward, because when you move forward, most people stay stuck because they think of the unknown as that what's it monster, right? It's like the unknown is scary. I don't know what to expect. And so we tend to go back to our old patterns, not because we're lazy, but really it's energetically conservative. And it's scary. We've imagined something into it. And so here's what I would love for you to direct into here with this story and your expertise is often we want to wait until we have all the pieces in place. We want to wait until we have every Lego piece. We want to know exactly what's in the basement before we move forward. And when you're stepping into, when we go into the journeys, we talk about the journey of uncertainty, abundance, vision, surrender as a group, because it really is, you don't know what's going to happen next. It's all a creation and everything's available to you, but people are waiting for that shoulder to heal before they take the steps. Can you create a tie-in to creating a new life? Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly kind of what the whole thing with the shoulder is, right?
Yeah.
It's the fear. It's this hurts, so I'm going to avoid it. But then that becomes a bigger problem, right? So, so with the shoulder example, we'll go back to the shoulder example. Once sometimes we can identify that for the person and be like, well, this is what it is. Now you have a frozen shoulder, right? The only way you can get rid of a frozen shoulder, well, there's lots of different treatments, right? But one of the big ways is you've got to push into that pain frequently enough that joint capsule is going to start to peel apart and it's going to start to open.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
But you've got to do it frequently. It's not just, I put it in the work once. You've got to be like, okay, I got it this far. Now I'm going to keep pushing into that far. I'm going to keep pushing at least that far. And now, I stretched and made it there. Okay, I got to keep pushing in that far and keep using it that far to where it's like, oh, eventually it's going to progress to get back to it. And it's not having, sometimes it's not, you've got to get rid of the expectation of man, my progress is only like from there to there. I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, every little step along the way is part of that journey. Every little step. So I think when people focus on like mile 26 of the marathon, it's like, man, those couple steps are hard. Right? Every step becomes brutal if you're focused on the end. But if you could just focus on the next step without even having the expectation of, man, mile 26 is way down there, but focus on exactly where you're at. Right? Okay, next step, one step in front of each other at a time.
Yeah.
And 26 miles later, you're going to pass that marathon. Right? But people get hung up in the expectation of that that seems daunting.
Yeah. They want the end.
It hurts so bad to move my shoulder. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's good things in starting with the end in mind, right? I mean, that's great, right? But you've also got to focus on where you are currently. And if you just only focus on the end, you're going to get drowned in the minutia, the details of how do I get there?
Yeah.
But if you can focus on what can I do next? What is in my control? what decision can I make today? So I try to start every single morning. I wake up probably about 4:30, and I start my day with a win of some sort. And it can be like the dumbest, most simple thing. But then I know if my day goes south from there, that I at least had a win. And it might have been I loaded the dishwasher, when I woke up. It might have been, man, I folded some clothes.
Yeah.
It might have been I folded clothes today, right? Great. Hey, I got a win. That one, I got at least something checked, right? But
Right.
the rest of the day might have gone to crap, and I feel like I didn't get done what I wanted. But it's looking back on, well, I at least won. I did what I could.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, just the thinking there is when we look at the journeys of non-consciousness, awareness, or abundance, vision, the vision is what comes from you. Rich Litvin talks about that. The vision is not where you're going, it's what's coming from you. And that what's coming from you goes back to your identity. That's why the root journeys are so essential, because who you think you are is going to affect what you express in the world. Edith Eger, she says that expression is the opposite of depression. And really, depression comes up when we feel stuck in our patterns and we're not measuring up to our own ideals. And so when we can shift us, then we can step into the unknown, and we don't know what's going to happen any more than anybody else. There's not a single human that can predict what's going to happen in the next 5 minutes, 5 years. So we're all doing our best to predict. And the machine that we have is a prediction machine. And so when we experience grief, it's like we have a catastrophic failure of prediction. The path we used to go down is no longer available. So when we work on the identity and then we step into the unknown, we know not what's going to happen, but we know whatever it is, we can adapt to it, mold to it, shift with it, fail from it, learn from it. And we know we can handle it. We also know from the journeys that everything we need is already around us. We just get to transform it from its current form into the form we have in mind. So everything is there to support us as we step. It's already there. So the vision helps guide our steps in the direction we're going, but it might not come out exactly as we envision it. That's where expectations come in. And the surrender is where you really let go of, it needs to go this way, the control. I see people lose their minds over things not going their way. I need it to go this way. When it doesn't, they completely lose their mind. And then they tend to go back in their old pattern, right? I mean, what do you see in all of that for you and your journey when it comes to that, to growth? There's a bit of
I'm going to go back to the Lego analogy, actually.
Yeah.
So the Lego analogy, right? I think sometimes we have those expectations of what we wanted to create in life, and we tried to build our little Lego car or Lego, airplane or whatever it was. But sometimes in order to really create what we wanted, we have to get rid of those expectations. And some of those things that we tried to build are broken, right? Some of them are broken anyway. Some of them have lost some pieces. Some of them were like, well, I'm never going to rebuild that exactly like I wanted. And we can either dwell on that and we can be frustrated about that, or we can look at the pieces that we have. And like you said, everything that we need is actually right in front of us. But it's like, we all have these pieces of Legos that surround us, right? I love Legos. So my kids love Legos. So we're going to keep rolling with this analogy.
Perfect.
But sometimes we have to take certain things apart in our life. We have to literally take them apart in order to actually build what we want. Sometimes we might have to search through the Lego bucket, for a little while to try to find the right piece. But they're all there.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love this.
And in our own little Lego bucket in life, they're all there. We just have to decide what pieces we're going to put where. And so it's our ability to prioritize, is this serving me or is it not? Is me dwelling on this broken Lego car that I dreamed about making, and the fact that it's broken? Is me dwelling on that and trying to preserve this thing that's not functioning and broken going to help me build what I want, or can I use some of those pieces?
I want to pull something.
Can I take that apart a little bit and use the value in it and make something from it?
Yeah, I want to pull into this the idea that you build a Lego set one piece at a time. Rarely do you take 10 pieces and put them all on at once, right? And so when it comes to the journey of
Well,
nurture, it's step by step.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, sometimes you build you build components, right? You're like, here, I built the back end of that Lego car, right, or whatever. But it's still one piece at a time. But sometimes you build components in, and then you assemble them all together later, right?
I like that. Yep.
But no matter how you do it, it's one. It is one piece at a time. It's one step at a time. It's you know, it is a progression. It's not just expecting a destination.
Yeah. And the impact of it, right? The legacy. So when we
kind
look
of
at the
freezing up, you guys.
yeah, it's a little
You
bit
good?
laggy, but it's workable. The legacy piece here is that the reason you build the Lego set in the first place is so you can enjoy it. So after it's all done, you can play with it, you can enjoy it, you can look at it. It really creates a positive impact in your life. It makes you feel good. And so the legacy journey is all about the impact that you want to make in the world. And there's myriad ways to do that. There's infinite ways to do that. And everybody's got their own unique gift. But everything is done in the sense of who you are determines what you're going to build with the Legos. And your ability to manage that and rewrite what's not working for you is going to help you to express differently in the world. So you want to change the world out here, you got to change in here. And then the uncertainty is you don't know which steps you're going to take to get there. You don't know which pieces you're going to use to get there. You just know all the pieces are there and all the steps I need to take are there. I get to put them in any order I want. And we do it one piece at a time. We surrender to the flow. I might not have this piece, but I have another one that will work. And we put that in, right? So you got this yellow Lego when it should have been a gray, but who cares? Right. It still worked, right? And then at the end, you get to enjoy the creations of your labors. And that's really essentially the 12 journeys. Right. You're going from rewriting you to really expressing differently and impacting differently in the world. So what else comes up as you hear that?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the big things is sometimes you end up creating something you never expected, and it's better than whatever you planned on in the beginning, right? But you have to kind of surrender to what you have, right? And again, it's not depending on those expectations of either what I wanted to build that didn't work, or I have this one goal and I'm sticking to that no matter what. Well, you might have to, like you said, use a piece of a different color, right?
Yeah.
Or like we said, you might have to take a piece off something else in order to build actually what you want.
Yeah.
But everything is in front of us.
Yeah.
Everything that we need is in us. And I struggle with the idea that I wasn't enough for a long time. I struggled with that idea. I let the failure overwhelm me. I beat myself up that I failed this person, I failed that person, I failed myself. And through this program, through 12 journeys, through some, realization of work I've done on my own, it's taken some time, but I'm enough exactly as I am.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And that's the thing that is a hard and heavy thing to realize for some people, because we want to dwell sometimes on the failure. We go back to that old patterning. We go back, and sometimes I think we do it like as if we're making ourselves a martyr, right? We make ourselves that, like, hey, look, I've gone through all this hard stuff, and we dwell in keeping ourselves in that circumstance of, man, I've been through that. And we use it almost as a badge of courage. Like, look what I've been through. Yes. We've been through hell and back. Yes, you've been in the darkness. Yes, you have. But you're exactly enough for who you are right now. and what you want to create, you're exactly enough for.
Amazing.
But
yeah.
we might be putting the pieces together slowly. We might have to break some things apart. But we can all,
such a great
one
analogy.
piece at a time, build a life we want. Right?
Yeah. You know, Ryan mentioned
Yeah.
appreciation. And you know, Ryan is the king. I would say he's the king of appreciation, not the king of the jungle, but Ryan the Lion Morris. But he is the king of appreciation. He has this ability to not only see the good in other people, but in situations, and express that gratitude and appreciate. And appreciate means to increase the value of. And Ryan, I'd love for you to expound on that a little bit. You know, how does appreciation and gratitude really affect change?
It's interesting first of all, like watching Derek, and I believe that SG program we did was on Sunday.
Yeah.
And you're running around, coming from church and trying to be a dad, and knowing that the divorce is coming and all of this stuff was happening. And I could see the panic, a little bit of terror, a little bit of disheveled running around, you know, all still trying to be professional and maintain some composure, you know, through it all. And I so wanted to be on that side in your pocket to cheer you on and to help you, you know, along your journey. But the neatest thing was to watch you as you went through that. And I know it was there was a lot of struggle, and it was hard. Your world was shattering and right in front of you, and again, and to come to that point where you seemingly lose everything. I have a friend right now, and this is a friend of the Giants, Adrian Meyer. He's in South Africa. Lost contact with him for a little while, didn't know why, got busy, whatever the reasons, reconnected, found out he was homeless, lost everything, got robbed several times. He has a phone and patchy Wi-Fi every now and again. Is surrounded by drug addicts and the lowest of the low in humanity. They've done just about everything imaginable that you can think of. But they have the same thing that he has currently, which is about nothing. What he's done differently is what it's done for him is it's taught him humility and gratitude. And to really, really, and this is what you did and are still doing, look at the man. Look at the giant that's whatever is left over after all of that is gone. And he's done an incredible job. He's sitting there grateful for the air that he has to breathe. He has very few worldly possessions to be grateful for anymore. He's grateful that the sun comes up. He's grateful when he hears children laughing in the distance. He's grateful that he sometimes he has a roof over his head. That I was able to give him a little bit of money and he got a blanket. You know, and he's been able to put on a little bit of weight because of some of the money as well. But it took him down to the bare bones of things. And what gratitude will do is it'll shift.
Right.
It's going to help you shift everything. You talked about being right on time. Nick has the sex stone. You're exactly where you're meant to be. You never were not a giant. It's unraveling everything else and then putting it back into the right order and learning and putting into practice the things that will help you on your Giants journey so that you can be a little bit quicker at not getting stuck in the life's stuff that it throws at you, because it does and it will.
Right.
So Derek, it's been, what I know is that seeing the difference now versus then, the calm, the excitement, the worry, the fear, the doubt has left there's probably still some that comes up every now and again, and you get to work through it. But in sitting here and watching you go from the caterpillar in a puddle of goo, almost nothing left, the identity's gone, seemingly, to emerging into this beautiful butterfly with all the possibilities that are out there, and getting to write the narrative how you want it, is a beautiful thing to witness. With the delay, I didn't hop in as much because I didn't want to cause any more chaos, or disruption. I wanted this to flow as much as possible. But I'm telling you, it's. I wish people got to see that version of you too. And as you're continue to move through, to share that with people of where you were, not to forget it. Don't live from it. You know that. But remember it, because that's where the gratitude comes in. Because of those experiences, you are where you are right now. And so thank you so much for your time and for the wisdom that you've shared with us today, Derek. You're an amazing human being. We appreciate you.
Now we all get to see your wing.
You too. I don't know if we've got a couple minutes. I would love to talk about some gratitude as well.
Please do. Yep. Please do.
I mean, I think I expressed during going through the program, and I probably didn't express it enough, but how grateful I was for it. Being able to experience it. And one thing I've tried to learn, and it's an ongoing process, is being grateful for those hard things. I listened to another speaker a couple of weeks ago, and he was sharing the story of, who Corey Ten Boom is? In The Hiding Place, the book The Hiding Place.
Okay, yeah.
Also, another World War II example, Holocaust example. But she was a Christian that was hiding Jews, and that she ended up getting caught and put in a concentration camp as well. And so her and her sister were there, and one day they were talking about, we're commanded to be grateful in all things. So they were like saying things they were grateful for, but kind of half joking, like, hey, I'm grateful for when we got food. I'm grateful, I'm grateful for these hard wood slats that we get to sleep on. They were able to smuggle a Bible in their jacket seam. Like, we're grateful for that. And then her sister said one thing, and she was like, hey, yeah, all those fleas that bite us, I'm grateful for the fleas. And they kind of laughed about it. And then a couple weeks later, they heard the guards talking. And the guards would not go into the barracks at night. So that was like their safe place. They were like not interrupted by the guards. But the guards were talking, and they're like, yeah, we won't go there because of the fleas.
Amazing.
And so sometimes in life, those things that are like, they hurt. We don't want to deal with them. Sometimes those are the exact things that we should be grateful for. And when we're grateful for them, we get to literally transform our own reality. If we just talk about what happens to our body physically, we literally have complete hormonal shifts. We put our body into a state where it can heal physically and mentally when we express gratitude. And it's not gratitude for things we have, it's like gratitude for the circumstances we're in, even when they're hard. Like, we literally transform our own reality physically and mentally in every way just by being grateful. So again, gentlemen, I am grateful for you. I'm grateful for the program. I'm grateful to be on here today.
I'm glad you could do this.
I'm grateful for the fleas.
I love it. Me too. I'm grateful for the fleas too.
Not calling you guys fleas. But
yeah, no. It's there's an analogy actually in mental health where people pick up patterns from their previous partners, and they call them fleas. And they're actually negative traits and patterns that you bring into the next relationship. And I'm grateful for the fleas because there's things that I've learned from past relationships that I've been able to heal that I didn't even know were there, that I picked up for protection. And they are fleas.
Right.
They keep you within a box like the circus fleas, right? but also they're opportunities for growth, you know. Incredible stuff. Derek,
Right.
if you were to speak to somebody that's watching this video and they're wondering, you know, is this work for me? Should I consider the 12 journeys? If not this, you know, what would you want somebody to hear, even if it's outside of the 12 journeys? Like, what would you want them to know about them that you've learned in your journey?
You know, I'm going to go back to one of my biggest realizations of just going through the program anyway.
Yeah.
Right. And it was teaching me that, hey, don't hate yourself for your failures. You're not them. You're not your circumstances. Accept what's happened to you for what it is. Good, bad, negative, in between. Accept it for what it is, and then decide from right there to move on, to create something beautiful. And we can all do it. It's in all of us. We have all the pieces. Just like when I remember building things when I was a kid with Legos, sometimes pushing those one pieces in one at a time, man, it made my thumb sore. It hurt. Right? It hurts. It hurts. But if we want to create, we've got to do it. Put in the work and do it. But know that you can do it. Know that you're enough, and know that you have it all in you.
Amazing. Thank you. Ryan, any final thoughts?
I'm just grateful for the that there is a Lego bucket to draw from, that is an infinite Lego bucket. You know, and you know, just like Nick has a slide in our 12 journeys. It's like stepping on the Legos, and sometimes it is painful. But you know, it doesn't.
But sometimes you find the exact Lego you needed that way.
It was right under your foot the whole time.
Yeah, there it is.
It was there. That's how you found it.
Yeah, step right on it. But it's funny how that stuff comes in as you start stepping forward too. You might not see all the Legos right away, but as you start stepping forward, more Legos appear, and more Legos appear, and more Legos appear, and just like Derek, and getting to where he's at, just like my friend Adrian Meyer, he's in a whole other set of circumstances, and some of it that might seem limiting. But as he's stepping forward, he's getting excited about the possibility of creation again, and had started talking to other people about creation. There's a guy that's there that is a really good dancer. He's homeless, has nothing, wants to create a dance school now. And Adrian kind of breathes some fire back into this guy, and some life and excitement and possibility again. Life is abundant. The universe is abundant. There's plenty there. You know, we work through getting out of survival and start stepping into remembering that you're a giant, you can do this. And along the way in your giant's journey, we'll be right here. If you ever need anything, you hit us up and let us know. And if we can help you, we'll be more than happy to help you. Derek, we're grateful that you've allowed us to be a part of your journey, and can't wait to see where it goes from here, brother. Love you, man.
Yeah.
Love you guys. And again, grateful, gentlemen. Grateful. Thank you.
You're welcome. You know, for those that are watching, if you are curious about the 12 journeys, reach out to Ryan or myself. Let's have a conversation. There's no charge for that conversation, and we'll explore it together, whether you do it with one of us individually or through our SG program. Make sure that you check it out, because it will fundamentally change you and everything you touch in life. And Derek, do we have a way that people can reach out to you?
So probably the easiest way would be either through my physical therapy website.
Okay.
Or I'm okay. People also contact me directly. Like email's probably best. I'm not great at answering my phone. So
what's your website?
So it's elite. So ELITE PTAW.com. So elite physical therapy and wellness, but
physicaltherapyandwellness.com.
Yeah, ElitePTAW.com.
I'm going to add that. Let me know if that looks right there.
That looks good.
Yep.
Yeah.
So please reach out to Derek. Yep. Go ahead.
So, and also, I mean, in regards to that's obviously more physical therapy based, but I'm happy if people want to email me directly or contact me directly. So it's Derek, DEREK, R Pond, Derek R Pond at gmail.com.
Okay, excellent. I'm going to throw that up here as well real quick just for the video. So DerekRPond at gmail.com. Okay.
Yep.
Dude, we appreciate you. For those that
Perfect.
are watching, thank you so much for your comments, your interaction, for sharing this with other people. Make sure that you go and subscribe on YouTube so you see when we go live every single dang time. I'm going to throw up a QR code in the corner here. You can see that. So you can scan that with your phone. It'll take you into the subscriber feed for YouTube. Our goal right now is to get over 1,000 subscribers. We're still a small channel, but we have over 850 uploads on that channel for you to serve you deeply and help you step into your inner giant. So go make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can see when we go live every single dang time. And we love you, appreciate you. Go make it a giant day, and we will see you in the next video. Take care.